Hey everybody. So it's finally here. Well, it's finally here for this kit. I've been reading about it in some comments, and here we are. It took me a full year to find this, and so let's get into this cool little knife. Let's get into the box. I don't do unboxing videos ever, so I figured it only appropriate to do one. And here, let's just get, and I have my tripod currently sitting on a hi-hat, so we'll see how this goes. But I wanted to just show you guys what the mount is like. So that way, oh, and it comes in another box. That's great. So it's double boxed, and this thing is bulletproof. I mean, they're really solid. And an ingenious design. So what this is this is the Mapex THBM2218A. So it just stands for Tom Holder Bass Drum Mount 22x18 Black Chrome. But yeah, that's the model number. I wasn't expecting it. I guess yeah, it's all pieced out, so it probably comes with the arms and one, because it has ball and socket joints for the mounts. And always want to try to keep stuff nice just in case you have to return anything, right? But look, came fully boxed, fully closed up, all taped, brand new. So I was having some conversations with other people online, and I don't know, for whatever reason, maybe it was just during COVID or what, but they actually discontinued making these. And the 22x18 size was literally impossible to find. I could find every other dimension except for the 22x18. I could find 22x16s. I could find anything in a 20x18s they had, but the 22x18s were literally impossible to find, and I have really no good answer for that. And when you go to Mapex's their home site of Mapex's, corporate site, it says that this size in particular was discontinued. So I've been searching forever to try to find this, because this makes it so that your floating bass drum, or your floating toms, suspended toms, are still suspended toms, but at the same time you can mount them directly on top of the bass drum while keeping your bass drum virgin. So it's a really great design. DW, I've seen, has tried to copy the design as well, but their design, you still have to drill 2 small holes into the shell, and then the mount is actually on top of the bass drum. So it's attached to it, it's not floating on top of it like this design is. So this actually comes, I'm trying to get it undone as quick as, and look how, this is pretty too. Black chrome, but it sits on this rail system, and these screw into the lug mounts of the front 2 and the back 2 of your bass drum. And then you've got your post with your arms, so let's get the post and arms undone. Oh yeah, this is really, really well built. Really built. Oh my goodness, very well built. I can tell right away, just the heft, the weight of it. And what's so cool about these two is that you can take these out and you can mount a cymbal stand in there. You can put any post you want in there. So it's got memory locks, ball and socket joints, and this post mounts on top of this rail system. The pressure plate's too tight, so let me just kind of get it in there, and we'll just, we'll play pretend together here. So let me grab the camera and put it in a better spot. I'm a big fan of just using my drums to mount as my base of operations for my phone and stuff. So let me get my tom up here. So what I'm doing now is I'm mounting the phone on top of the tom. Bear with me. What I'm doing is I'm literally putting my phone on top of this while I mount it. So that's how I just kind of get all my different angles around, okay? So Oh, here comes Jack to join me. Hey Jackie, we got a new toy, bud. Yeah, we got a new toy. Everyone should be excited. Hooray! Oh, Hunter's here too to celebrate. Yay, everybody. So, oh, and this is cool. So, wow, okay, that's going to be really important to not lose those screws. But, so basically, what you're looking at here within the mounting system is that these screws and this plate comes off, right? So this little black plate, here's one that's it's loose enough that it's rotating. But you can see how, so that's going to be on the this black plate on the inside of the bass drum. This is going to be your actual lug, and then your tension rods go into these receivers. So these become your lugs. These become your front two and your back two lugs. Then you just take a drum key, and this whole system will slide back and forth on these two rails that float on top of the bass drum, so you can get your toms further away from you, closer to you, in addition to having 360-degree ball and socket joint mounts. So, man, I am stoked because this is going to be a lifesaver as far as packing quickly. So now I can just easily mount these bass drum mounts. So if you just get an idea of it, because I've got everything suspended and mounted now, but what it is that it would float right here, and I'm going to bring the camera over to show you a little closer look, but I don't want to scratch anything, I don't want to mess anything up, but this would float here, and then this becomes your whole tom mounting system. So then you don't have to be dependent upon where your cymbal stands are mounted to get the perfect location of your toms, but your bass drum stays virgin. So if you can just imagine where those two front lugs are, where the back two lugs are. Whoa, I'm looking at the camera so that I don't want to scratch anything. So, and look, in the black chrome matches, because I have black chrome hoops and all that. So anyway, this piece of hardware is going to be invaluable for me, because now all of my locations of my toms, I can rack mount whatever I want, 1 up, 2 up. I can take one of these posts out and use it as a cymbal mount right in front of me if I wanted to for a ride or something. So these are really, really great because it will keep your bass drum virgin, but at the same time allow you to basically, in air quotes, I'm holding two things so I can, in air quotes, that you can have rack mounted, air quote, rack mounted in air quotes, toms. So that way they're still suspended. You're still using your sonic clear, whole system and all that. But, there is, I'm sure, going to be a little bit of loss of resonance because anything that you attach to anything will absorb some of those sound waves. But the way that Mapex has the system anyway, and I just have a tom, a fast clamp for this tom just because I couldn't get it far enough over with a regular mount. And that's another thing is that now I don't have to, how we all know how it's like playing Tetris or a puzzle game or like a quick, you got to figure out your footprint. And if you're using different setups constantly, it's kind of hard to always have, free stands and free tripods so that way you can place your cymbal stands wherever you want rather than having to be contingent upon, oh, my tom needs to float directly over the bass drum, so this whole cymbal mount and cymbal stand has to be over here, So now it's an easier job just to pack up this one piece of hardware, mount the bass drum, get the toms where you want, and then now I only have to bring 2 cymbal stands, 1 or 2 cymbal stands with me if I want to bring the Mapex somewhere. So it is a big bass drum, but I am so excited that I was finally able to find this piece of hardware. And there was literally one on all of eBay that was new and in black chrome, and I've been looking and looking and looking on every site for so long since I got this kit. So I don't know how long I've had this kit for now, probably close to 8 months to a year, but man, is this a great design. So you can see just what a cool little gadget, if you will, that's going to be for me, because then that way it'll save my back with setup time. In addition to, I can get all of my toms in a more comfortable place and not have to rely on like aftermarket clamps or use a tom a fast clamp instead of a sonic clear because I can't get it over to exactly where I want it. But this will just make it so much easier to be able to get things in a good comfortable place while being able to only pack up some light cymbal stands, and then now just, you know, instead of having to be like, okay, I need this clamp, I need this dog bone clamp, I need this cymbal stand, I need the, you know, it's a lot less effort, and also be able to mount them. So now I'm trying to show how you can slide the rails back and forth. This also has a pressure plate. So this has 2 lugs on each side, and then this whole rail system will slide back and forth. I'm sorry, I'm trying to show it in the camera. This whole rail system will slide back and forth. So once you mount it on there, so see how that is? Then you can just get your toms floated exactly over the positioning of the bass drum, whether you want it right in front of you, which is kind of what I like my stuff, low and close, or you can get it further away from you. And like I said a bazillion times, nothing drills into the bass drum. The whole thing floats on top of the bass drum, and that way you're still getting your virgin bass drum without drilling anything. But see how this whole system, you know, dog bone clamps and kind of weird angles and trying to get them exactly over, but get the EAD in space. And that's one thing I checked out too, is that I'll still be able to use the EAD because the lugs are far enough back of the mounting system, so the rails are going to be floating right here, and then basically that post is going to be right over the badge of the bass drum. So then those 2 rails float, you know, lug here in the back too. I can move them back and forth, and I can still use the EAD because it's clamped onto the hoop of the bass drum with just enough clearance. And then the toms won't be at a weird angle or have to be dependent on aftermarket dog bone clamps or just getting stuff in different positions. You know, I like having rack mounted because this is how the DW one is, you know, but we got fully drilled into the shell, attached to the shell, and this still has great resonance. The way that they attach these, they're great. And then, you know, Gretsch's famous stop sign, or gas cap, sorry, not stop sign, gas cap. I'm thinking of their badge, stop sign badge. But their gas cap mount, but that's a lot of material drilled straight into the shell, and then your post goes into the bass drum. So with this, everything is still virgin of the bass drum, and everything still floats on top. So for those that don't know, virgin bass drum just means there's nothing drilled into it, there's nothing attached. It's a free floating drum, free floating shell. So for kiddos that are watching this and hearing me say that word over and over, it's not referring to what you think it is. It's referring to the fact that nothing has been done to tamper with the mounting of the bass drum, okay? But having rack mounts, see what I did here? So that way I put my phone on top of that. But, and dog's saying hi now, Hunter's lost interest. But this way, you know, we'll be able to I'll be able to, I was including the dogs in that one, be able to just get this straight on top. And I'm so happy because it looks gorgeous with it. So it's gonna look great, and this is a serious piece of hardware. Like, I don't know how much this weighs, but it weighs enough to where I can tell it will affect some resonance, but it's really solid. It's really, really solid. And finding it in black chrome is darn near impossible, and especially new, because what they've done is they've retrofitted. A lot of people have retrofitted the design for the Mapex, because I have a Saturn, but I have a Saturn V exotic, and since it's a newer series, they don't have a whole lot of hardware for it, and Mapex is pretty notorious for being hard to get stuff from. So I didn't go directly through their site because I couldn't find it, and it said discontinued on their site. So then I was like, what? You just stopped making them completely? But why only in that dimension did you say discontinued? Because their site doesn't say discontinued for the other stuff. So I have no idea. I'm just as confused as anyone else would be. But my point being, I did research for a straight year trying to find this, and I finally just got it at my doorstep. So it's a really smart design. It's very smart, and Mapex was the first to come up with it, as far as I know. I've researched a lot about it and different designs and all that, and Mapex is, this is their newest design that fits the 5s. They have, the last series was for the 2s and 3s. This will fit the 4s as well, but to fit the 5 exotic, the newest model of what Mapex makes for their Saturns, you got to get the right one, and it has to be exactly 18, you know, otherwise the whole rail system won't fit properly on the dimensions of the circumference and, you know, everything of the drum. So getting everything and figuring out, you know, exactly what the angle is here and the depth has to be very specific. Otherwise, you know, because I was thinking of, well, what if I get, you know, a 20 by 18 and see, just because it should still have the same 18-inch depth, right? No, it wouldn't, because the angle would be different. So, you know, just kind of have to figure that stuff out. But the fact it has memory locks for everything and ball and socket joints, I mean, and can slide back and forth to as close or as far away from you, that means you can get, now rack mount the toms exactly where you want. Exactly where you want. So I'm stoked, guys. All right, I'll be quiet now, but I wanted to just share that kind of excitement with you and just show you how it's gonna work. So I have to go to work, speaking of work, so I don't have time to mount it right now, but I did want to unbox it and show everybody what I've been talking about in comments and whatnot. So I shall have it up soon. But wow, this is like rock solid, man. This stuff is built well, really well. I can just tell by the way the pressure plates work, the way the clamps are, the wing nuts, the weight, the memory locks, everything. It's very well built. Like, it's meant to last the lifetime of a drum set. So stoked, super stoked. Happy drumming, everybody. I'll leave you with the little black chrome Mapex logo. Love you guys, happy drumming, and I'll get this thing mounted up there as soon as possible. But I literally just got this whole configuration set up to add the 10 back into the mix not too long ago. So, you know, but that's what I mean, is that this is really going to help with all of that. This is going to help with making setup a lot quicker. And since I have my stuff mic'd here in the studio, you know, even if it affects resonance in the room or overall, I still have, you know, the mics inside to capture the punch. So I got the Beta 91A plus a Shure KSM 141 in there. So, you know, we'll see how it kind of affects the resonance, but I don't anticipate that it's going to do too much. And even if it does, I'm still going to have that, you know, attack and tone of what the Mapex bass drums give to you. So happy drumming, everybody. Take care. Have a great weekend.